What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. And there's just something about the Underdog. But, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you see him, muscles out. Actually, no, your muscles aren't out, but their muscles there. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, he goes by the name Stanimal, and he is an animal. I mean, you guys see him. How you doing today, big fella? What's up?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Like I was telling you off camera, I'm just dealing with some stuff with one of my dogs, so it's just a little stressful. But glad we were able to connect. We were supposed to connect tonight last week, and well,
That was
here
me,
we
Underdog Talk. That was me. Do not blame Animal. 9 to 5 still get me, man. But yeah, I hope the dogs are gonna be okay. And I want to jump right into it because your story fascinates me. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were born in Paris,
are.
lived in Nigeria
Yep.
and Switzerland
Yep.
before coming to Los Angeles to pursue your dreams of bodybuilding. Obviously, what also interests me, you have a degree in hotel management. I'm not going to
That's
pronounce the school that you went to in Switzerland. I mean, I feel like I need to know more about your childhood. What was that all like? I mean, that seems like a movie, man.
my dad was doing import export of like coffee, cacao, rice, stuff like that. So he worked a lot in Africa, and he was based out of Lagos for a while when I was born. So I was actually born in Paris. My just to be born in a French hospital, and then as soon as I could get on the plane, we went back to Nigeria, and then later on, when my sister was on the way, we moved back to Paris, and then as I was 10, my dad got another job in Switzerland, so we moved to Switzerland, and before starting my college, I went to LA for a while. I did like a little West Coast trip, and I felt right at home in LA. So when I finished my college, I went back to celebrate, and one thing led to another. I got my pro card. I just stayed there, and we're almost 10 years later, and I'm still here.
And one thing did lead to another is obviously, after your second show, you traveled to America for vacation. And it's
Yeah,
almost like, as chance would just have it, you were magically presented with the opportunity to compete in another show on that vacation. And I mean,
yeah.
obviously, you had already been in shape from that previous show. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you gave it a shot.
Hmm.
You ended up taking second place, but the big thing is you met that sponsor who sent you to the Arnold Classic. And I don't
That's
even
right.
want to say what you did in the Arnold Classic because you won it, but I mean, you killed it. I mean, with the Arnold coming up in a day or two, obviously people are talking about how the Arnold is now becoming kind of the new face of bodybuilding, and some even saying it might overpass the Olympia. So to you, obviously, as a winner of it and really help propel your career, what makes the Arnold so special?
Well, first of all, it's a huge sports festival. It's not just bodybuilding.
True.
Obviously, Arnold being a bodybuilder and being a foreigner, and coming to the states and like realizing everything he's done through bodybuilding, it just like a huge opportunity. It's like a really great, like it's a great stage, but like it's really like a yeah, more than a stage. It's a door. It's an opportunity to like get your name out there to really like build up your career. For me, it was the opportunity to get my pro card, immense physique back then, and then now it's almost been 10 years. And I went back there as a pro immense physique. I just missed the top 10, but now I'm looking forward to get back there in the open soon. Hopefully, maybe next year, 10 years after getting my pro card.
Ain't it funny how that happens, sir? And obviously, you did win the show, as I talked about, which you did earn your pro card in the process. I mean, first of all, what was it like to win your pro card? Really, after all that work that you put into it, what was that like? What were the emotions like of getting that pro card?
Well, it was a little unreal because it was like my one shot for me. Because being a I was being a foreigner in the U.S., I only had back then you could only turn pro either at the Arnold, and I don't even think there was an Olympia amateur back then yet. So I could only turn pro either there or at the World Championship because the IFBB and there was no elite pro. It was one all organization. So I either had to win the world or I think there was world, universe, a couple. There was not many shows you had to where I was able to actually get my pro card. So like the Arnold was one of those opportunities, and it just happened. I had been training for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 for 9 years back then, and men's physique was also way different then. It was the beginning of it, so it was not as advanced as today. The physique were a lot different, but yeah, it was huge accomplishment, and for me also allowed me to fulfill another dream, which was to stay in Los Angeles and like pursue this avenue of fitness.
And what's interesting to me is you started out as a men's physique competitor. However, your physique developed and you wanted to expand. So you went obviously to classic. And now I hear you're going to open as well. So I mean, why make all these switches, and what has that all been like?
Well, I don't know how much you talk about stuff here on Chubby. Oh, my dog getting a crazy one on the
That's the
outside.
neutered one, right?
That's the non-neutered one.
Oh,
He's doing
he's
something
they
outside.
must be
He
happy.
is neutered too, but he's older, so he's
Oh,
been
all
done.
right, sweetheart. All right.
Okay, now he's good. He's inside. Okay, go up. Come on. Sorry. So when I turned pro, there was only men's physique, and I was natural back then. So for me, it was just no question. Men's physique. That's where I turned pro, and then that was 2014, 2016. They started with the classic physique division, and I was still pretty small. I was just new into like the enhanced
Yeah.
part, and but I was had good legs. I like to pose, and it was a new division. I was just like, I would like to give it a shot. So I actually registered for the first show, which was in March, and then because I did the Arnold Classic in Ohio, in Columbus, as a pro in men's physique, and then I registered for that show that Danny Hester ended up winning. That was in LA, the first classic physique show. But last minute, I actually decided not to do it because my sponsor wanted me to do men's physique, so I did the Feel His Classic in Dallas instead. And after that show, I was like, you know what? I'm done with men's physique. I really want to do classic. So I took a few months off and came back in August, and I did. It was the San Antonio Pro, and I got I think sixth place. But there was another show 2 weeks later in San Diego, and I went there, and got second place. And then from there, it was just like top two, top three every show until I won the San Marino Pro and qualified for the Olympia 2018, where I got like 13th place. And then qualified the following weekend, I did the Asian Grand Prix in Korea, South Korea, qualified for 2019. And then I had the whole year, so I actually grew quite a bit. I was like 270 in the off season. My weight cutoff was 207. So it was like, okay, maybe we got a little big here. So on the way down, I was around 230, and I was working with Chris Aceto back then, and he was like, "What weight do we have to make again?" I was like 207. He was like, "Okay, I think that's the last time we can do that because 230 is a good weight for you right now." So I was like, okay, meaning like I'll probably be like 218, 220, but I was getting in a good condition around 230, which was way above the cutoff weight. So just after the Olympia 2019, I decided to do my first open show the following weekend in Italy, where I competed with Roddy Winkler, Nathan Diashna, and all, and got sixth place there, just missing the top five. And then, just get going at, trying to grow in the open. But unfortunately, there was the COVID that kind of made things a little difficult for a while. But now I'm here because I'm in Vegas because in between I moved a little bit. I was in LA for a while. I moved to Chicago for a little bit, for during COVID. Then my best friend Shawn Rhoden was moving to Vegas, so I decided to join him there. And Vegas is a much better spot for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So that's get my career back on track, I would say. And here I am.
And here you are, and we had both of those lovely gentlemen, Rolly and Nathan, on the podcast.
Yeah,
they are some interesting guys, and obviously two great guys in the industry. Now, for you, sir, What is the plan this year? I mean, have you decided if you're going to go to a qualifier? Are you allowed to say what qualifier, if so, or is it another year of building and coming back for ideally maybe the 2024 O or 2025 O? What is this year hold for you?
Um, well, there's a lot of things. So I mentioned Aceto before.
Yep.
So when I moved to Las Vegas, I started working with Patrick Tuor,
Oh wow.
and so I've been with them since 2020 now. Every show we entered, except the first one. Well, the first one was the Legion. It was
Mhm.
a tough one. We know there was like Cedric McMillan, Patrick Moore, Sergio, Sean Clarita, all these guys, and I ended up placing seventh. Martin Fitzwater was doing it too. I mean, it was packed.
It's
But
packed. That's
uh,
packed.
after that, I got top five every show I entered with Patrick. We got fifth in Toronto, fourth last year at the Legion, then second at the Fit Pira in Brazil. So the plan this year is to do the Puerto Rico June 24th
Okay.
and qualify for the Olympia 2023. And 2023 for me is really important for two reasons. It's going to be 5 years since Shawn won his first Olympia, and it's also going to fall on the weekend of his passing 2 years ago. So I really gonna make a point to be there.
Wow.
Mm.
I mean, it's almost like, I mean, what better way to honor, obviously, the
Yeah,
great than, show what you two were working on developing. And I'm
exactly.
sure he'd be so proud watching you as, all your fans are so proud of what you've done. And obviously, you're not just a bodybuilder, you teach people how to train the muscles. You have YouTube videos on more than just bodybuilding, and I think that what makes you so relatable. And now, obviously, one big thing is you said always surround yourself with positive, like-minded, people to reach higher skies, and then boom, unleash it all. And
Mhm.
obviously, you've had some greats with you, and one big great who I want to look at is Jay Cutler. As Jay Cutler has been a big motivation for you, and has even given you advice. I mean, what was it like having Jay help you reach your goals?
Jay has always been like a huge inspiration to me. Because when I started really getting into bodybuilding, that's when he started winning. I started really getting into following the sport like in 2006. That was his first title, 6, 7, yeah. So yeah, I was a huge fan of Jay, and then he lost to Dexter. Um, and then I actually became a fan of Sean early on when he first came on the scene in 2012, and then I became friend with him. So it's Jay has been just it's been like a huge motivation, but it's also been interesting because the last day when I was visiting in 2010 Los Angeles, I really want to make a point to meet him. And the last day I was in LA, I was, I actually remember like it was yesterday. I was doing the rear delts machine in the third room, and I looked up and I'm like, this looks familiar. This huge guy, on the stairmaster, just like, I was my first time really seeing bodybuilders in person. I was really impressed at first, but after 2 weeks in LA, I kind of started getting used to it. But this guy was just twice as wide as everybody else. I was like, I've seen that somewhere before. It was like on videos on YouTube, and it was like, yeah, it's Jay. So I stopped my workout. I just went, sat down on one of the bench press that wasn't being used, and I waited for him to be done. I was like, I'm not gonna miss the opportunity to take a picture with him. So I was just like, okay, I sacrificed this workout. And so the last day I was in LA, I took a picture with him, and I was a few weeks. I think I was about 4 weeks out or 6 weeks out from the Olympia that he won, his last Olympia actually, his last title in 2010. And then when I came back in 2013. The first day I was at Gold Gym, I was doing legs, and a guy come up to me and he's like, "How many sets do you have?" And I was Jay. So we started working in together, and he was filming with Dave, Dave Boulay, who does all these videos. And Dave is French. He's actually French, but he speaks.
Really?
So he grew up in Montreal, so he speaks
All
French
right.
Canadian. So my English was really bad back then too. And Jay really wants to make really understand his fans. So he wanted, he was asking Dave, "Well, what are you saying? Like, can you translate?" So we actually ended up doing the whole workout together. They was filming him for MD, and I'm putting me on the video. At the end, Jay took a picture with me and put it on Twitter and said, "Good luck." I think I was competing a week or 2 weeks later, my first NPC show, and for me it was just like wow. And the following day, Dave was interviewing Dexter Jackson. He was like, "Oh, if you want to, meet Dexter, I'll be at Max Muscle interviewing him." So I was like, "Oh, for sure, I'll come." So I met Dexter there, and then the owner of the store was there, and we started talking after the interview. And he offered me a job. I don't know if I can say it, but I was paid under the table.
Sure.
I took the opportunity. So it was a lot, for me, it was kind of cool because I was supposed to be here for 6 weeks, but I kind of like had the idea of being able to stay. So if I could, prevent from taking into my savings and actually make some money while I was there, that was something I was interested in. So I took that opportunity and started working there. And while I was staying there, Jay was asking Dave about me. And, I think December came around and the Fit Expo was in January. And Jay was like, "Oh, is Stan going to be here in January? Because, if he can help us at the booth, that'd be great." When Dave told me that, I was like, no question. I just postponed my flights. And I did good because in the meantime, I met somebody that sent me, wanted to send me to the Arnold Classic. So I ended up working out. I spent the whole weekend at the Fit Expo with Jay. Then, went to the Arnold Classic on my pro card. And Jay's always been in touch since then.
Everything happens for a reason. I
Yeah.
think it's like everything has to happen for a reason. And you know what ties me back is obviously Jay is a pioneer of the sport, a legend, but he's also truly a genuine guy.
Yeah.
And we had Jason Lowe on the podcast last week. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Oh,
who
yeah,
he is.
yeah.
He
We
reminds me a lot of you. Not only that he's going to do the Puerto Rico Pro, but he went from 212 to or from
classic.
Classic, and then he's doing Open now. And I actually thought he was the only one. And he goes, "I'm the only one to qualify for. I'm about to possibly be the only one to qualify for all three of those because it's never been done." Did you qualify for Classic?
Classic, yes. I got top 10. I did twice the Olympian Classic, but I didn't do it in men's physique.
So you won't get that record, but
Yeah.
that is interesting how bodybuilders are switching classes, and it's almost like obviously we see it works as Derek and Hadi were 212s and first, second in the Open.
Yeah.
Now you have really seen it all in bodybuilding. I mean, you really have, and you've had so many amazing experiences. So, what is your biggest tip for someone who's an up and coming bodybuilder like you once were, sir? What is your biggest tip for success?
As far as success in the industry, or I like,
Becoming a professional bodybuilder, yeah.
but to build the physique or just to be successful
To
as
be
far.
successful, to be successful.
Well, I think a huge thing is to be relatable, and I think for me, coming from men's physique has been a huge, plus. Because when you see a bodybuilder you know, like a full blown open bodybuilder, it's hard to really relate for someone
Yeah.
that's just new to the sport. But for the people who follow me from the start, they see me like growing in the
Yes.
sport. So
Yes.
they're like, "Oh yeah, I could do that. I can start men's physique. I could do classic eventually." And then like once they're in classic, like, "Oh, maybe I'll do open." So I think that's one of the thing is, you want to bring value also. Like when you share, content or things like that, you want to make sure you offer something of value that people can actually apply. Like it's rare. I don't think there's many people that people just want to watch, for no reason. You want to
Yeah.
either be entertained or learn something. You have to take something away from what people are posting. So on my YouTube, I try to focus on my French audience a lot, because they don't have as many people doing what we do at this level.
Sure.
So I try to focus a little more on that. But I try to do both, but it's hard to to target everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I think just add value. Like make sure you're relatable and you offer some type of value to in your content.
And as I said earlier, I think that's exactly what you do. You're impressionable, you're relatable, and you, sir, are an animal. Now, it has been such an honor and privilege talking with you. I'm really excited to see where you go in the open bodybuilding and what impact you can make. Now, the floor is yours, sir. Where can we find your YouTube? What is that code for BSN? New BSN athlete. I saw you training with our guy Andrew Jack, and I love
Yeah,
goat combo right there.
yeah.
What's the Instagram? The floor is yours, big fella.
So my Instagram is Stanimal9. I have also a French page, Stanimal.fr, that I haven't been used as much because it's hard to keep up with everything. But I used to like trying to segment my audience and like different, I have different page for different things.
Smart.
I have my YouTube is Stanimal TV, and I don't have a code for BSN, unfortunately. Uh, we don't do codes, but I
Really?
encourage everybody to try though our protein. That's probably the best tasting protein on the market, Synthesix, and our pre-workout, Explode Vaso 2.0, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And my favorite flavor is pineapple, personally, for the pre-workout. And I love the vanilla flavor for the Synthesix, but you can't really go wrong. We have all the Cold Stone flavors too. If you're familiar with the Cold Stone Creamery,
Yes.
so
Yes.
we have like those
Oh,
special flavors.
yeah.
We
Those
had
are
we had
cool.
a milkshake machine at the Olympia Expo, and everybody who tried it, people come through the booth and they're like, okay, and everybody was just like taking a sip and just like, and looking back, what was that? Like it's actually like I'm not kidding. It's like really, really like if you got an opportunity to try our protein, just go ahead and you won't be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed. BSM has some of the best flavors on the market. Normally, I say use that code, and I'll give you something. But if you subscribe to Stanimal, send me a screenshot. I will personally get you a BSN product. We're gonna do a little switch of the cup. I don't even know what I was gonna say. We're gonna do a little role reversal. I mean, check out his YouTube, check out his Instagram. All those links will be in the bio to this YouTube video.
I
I
do
mean,
have a code though if you order your food from Trifecta. If you're in the US and you have the chance to be in the US, Trifecta is huge. They make the meal
yes.
prep, make everything easy, come to your door every week. Everything is organic, pre-packed. I like to have just my protein so that I can adjust my carbs accordingly. But I have a code, it's Stanimal Fit, and it saves you, I think, 20% first time order. So go ahead.
Well, you should have told me that. Now, if you don't have a YouTube and you can't subscribe to Stanimal, I mean, use that code and I will get you a box full of goodies and autograph from one of the legendary guests that we've had on the show. Make that happen. Get that food supply. I mean, get that meal prep going. I mean, if you want to be like Stanimal, you got to be an animal. I got to stop using that. I mean, one more time, the man who will take over the open. You heard that from me. I mean,
First.
the one and only Stanimal, sir. It has been such a honor and privilege talking to you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Until next time, guys. Underdog out.